And so once you get to a certain size, it just becomes so important to make sure you develop consistency in how your people and leaders show up. But when you go from, 1 to 30, and then 30 to 60, and then 60 to 120, and then you're at 240, and you're growing up. And so what we find is these growing pains, companies feel in a lot of different ways, right? CEOs, executives, and Tim, I know we've talked about this before. It goes from kind of like steering a small sailboat to now steering a fleet of ships. And you can't just make one turn and everybody turns with you. You need to actually be able to communicate, be able to give clarity and context, and make sure people feel safe and are willing to go on this journey with you. And what we find is in this kind of growing up maturation phase of businesses, they're trying to get all their processes in order. They're still selling and hitting traction. And their leaders are people who, as you said, they are promoted really quickly. They don't have the tools or skills. They're asked to do their job and then also make sure their employees do their job. And they're just not set up to lead well. And the intention isn't there around how we actually have conversations, how we lead. A lot of the times these organizations are just setting up even their expectations for what does it mean to manage well here. Oftentimes that's what we end up coming in and doing before we start anything is we get clear on them is what does it mean to lead at Lucas James? What are our expectations of our managers and our leaders? How do we measure that? And then it's like, what are the core set of skills? What's that like toolkit that I want every manager and leader at Lucas James to hold? And so we kind of come in and we're that foundational level of training to make sure, one, everybody on your team has the same exact training, same level of same toolkit that they're walking around with. They're using the same common language, which is incredibly important to have a common language amongst your team and your company. And three, they're building the skills.